What's up, world? It's your boy Haydn Dinsdale coming at you live from Melbourne in Australia with today's video. And this video was inspired by a message I was sent by a viewer this morning. And that message was how to be happy. So I received this really in-depth and long message, detailed message about, I guess, asking me how I'm happy, what I do to make me happy, how I center myself and all that sort of stuff. And I'm reading it and it's funny because I still have trouble reading these messages when I get them from people. I'm reading it and I'm thinking to myself, does the person not realize that I'm not this way every single second of every single day? I think the first thing I want to address is happiness isn't a constant. It's not something that starts at one point and continuously grows and grows and grows and never fluctuates, never ebbs and flows. It is fleeting at times, it's ephemeral, it's something that can be very, very intense one second and it can be something that's almost non-existent the next. The way we find happiness, I think, is what I want to address here and how we define it. So what I said to this person who messaged me was a few things. I set the record straight and I said that I myself deal with so much self-doubt, so much self-criticism, internal conflict, a lot of debating, and how do I keep myself centered? How do I keep myself happy? My answer was this. 1, do more of what you love. Do the things that give you satisfaction, that bring you joy, that bring you some sort of fulfillment. For me, a short-term fix would be something like listening to music. Now, it's weird to a lot of people because I'm such a happy guy, but my favorite music is hardcore, metal, the heavy stuff, and it always has been. So what I'll do is I'll listen to that, or I'll go for a skate, or I will participate in an activity, or I'll just watch like a documentary or something funny on YouTube. Like, these are all short-term fixes. But I guess the question is, how do you upkeep that? How do you maintain that? How do you make sure that that feeling isn't so short? How do you sustain it? And I think the key is having a sense of purpose and having a mission. Every person on this earth, I believe, has a mission that they themselves are best at fulfilling. We are all talented, we all have our own interests and hobbies and things of that nature, but I think there's specific areas that we really excel in. So for some, they're very detail oriented. They like to be in those jobs, say in a government job or something where they have to do whatever, Excel spreadsheets or something detailed. That's where they excel. If someone can find something in their life outside of work that brings them that satisfaction, where they get to implement that skill and do what they're good at and know that it's contributing to something beyond themselves, they will feel a sense of fulfillment. Then you have the types out there who are fulfilled by maybe designing and thinking laterally and thinking more on a larger scale. Those could be the architects. And the architects are the ones who need not numbers, but they need space to create. And what they do is they're actualizing. They're actualizing an idea that came from their head, and it becomes a map, a blueprint, something drawn out, and eventually they see it come to fruition and be made into something tangible, visceral, real. It's physical, you can see it. Whatever it is, whatever it is depends on the individual and their inherent skills and abilities. And it's easy to say just find what you love doing and do it, do more of it. But sometimes we don't really know what we love. We don't know what we value. We don't know what excites us because we're constantly being programmed by things outside of us to want what others have, or that we aren't good enough unless we have achieved a certain thing or obtained a material possession, attained a sense of status. But let's bring it back to happiness for a second. In its simplest form, ask yourself this question. In its simplest form, your simplest form, what makes you happy? Do you like spending time with dogs? I have a friend who adores dogs. His dream job would literally be just to walk dogs every day for the rest of his life. Is it music? Are you musical? The arts are a great place, I feel. The arts, whether it be painting, whether it be sculpture, whether it be music, acting, because the arts really are creation. They all are creation in some sense. And I think that is one of the best things that we can do as people. We have this ability. We have developed our prefrontal cortexes to a place where we can literally visualize something and manifest it and make it reality. Whether we do it ourselves or whether we accrue a team of people and work together to make something come to completion. That's what we do. We build things. We build cities. We build infrastructure. We build roads that get people to and from where they need to be. To me, actualization is probably one of the biggest contributors to happiness. But, and I say but here intentionally, I think people's focus on the end product is what leads to a lot of unhappiness. It's this constant focus, and I'm so guilty of this, it's this constant focus on what the end product will be, that the time spent working towards it is not savored, it's not enjoyed. It's merely, it's an afterthought. It's something that we just do. We put ourselves into like a zombie autopilot type mode, and we just do it, not enjoying it, not relishing in it, just focusing on what the end goal is. And that's the when situation. We create when and then situations. When I achieve this thing, then I can feel happy. But it shouldn't work like that. We should enjoy the process, and it's very cliche, and sometimes those cliches is just, they ring true. They are true. That's the reason they've been around for so long. It's not about the product, it's about the process, or the project, whatever it is. So, what I would encourage you to do, if you are struggling with these feelings of not being happy, is get a pen and paper and write down a list of things that actually make you happy. Define what it is. And look over that list and count it up, tally up. How many of those things are you currently doing? So for example, if I say, oh, skydiving makes me happy, and swimming with sharks makes me happy, and I write down all these really amazing things that look great on a bucket list, but they're not something that I could do on a daily basis, am I going to be happy on a daily basis? No. I'll only be happy when I'm doing those one-off events. What can you do every day that'll bring you happiness? Could you hug someone? It's scientifically proven that oxytocin is released after 8 seconds of hugging someone. Increase your intimacy. Be someone who is willing to put yourself forward and go first. Hug people with heart. And I guarantee if you keep doing that regularly, these releases of oxytocin and all these feel-good chemicals will start to take hold. It'll become more of a constant in your life. You could nourish your body. You could nourish yourself with good food. It's awesome. I think it's great being very strict with your diet and saying I'm only eating whole foods and all these good things that make me stay lean and all year round. But occasionally nourishing yourself could mean just having a cheeky snack. That could be the thing that you really want. I did it just before. I had like a chocolate croissant type thing, a vegan chocolate croissant. It was amazing. But don't make a habit of it. But if it's something that your body's calling you to do, and you feel like you're at a point where you've kind of earned it, then go ahead, do it. Nourish your body, nourish your mind on a daily basis. Engage in conversation that is thoughtful, that is instrumental in building your own intellect. Challenge yourself. I think we as humans really enjoy challenges. So give that to yourself. Whatever it is that comes up on that list that you can do every day, that you'll enjoy, that brings you some happiness, do that. It's easy for me to sit here on a camera and say, just go and be happy. Go and do this stuff. But I don't know you. I don't know what you're about. You do. You are literally the only person who gets you. And you don't even get you 100%. If we all did, no one would be unhappy. That's food for thought. And I think the last thing I'll say here is our interpretation of happiness in others, and assuming that just because we see something on the outside is exactly what it is on the inside. I was asked, how am I so happy all the time? Do I just wake up that way? And again, as I said before, I've battled with a lot of inner demons. I've had a lot of things happen in my life that have been very challenging. And I think assuming that people are happy all the time is a mistake. And it's a trap that some people definitely fall into. Just remember that everyone's fighting their own battles. Everyone. I see it every week, every Thursday when I'm running a men's night. Every person deals with issues of self-love. Every person deals with thoughts of inadequacy and of inferiority. So you're not alone. Just know that. Sometimes the best thing to do is just strike up conversation with others about it, and you'll know very quickly that pretty much everyone you meet in some way, shape or form is experiencing those same difficulties, those same trials and tribulations. We're all just people trying to get by on this earth and do the best that we can. So maybe make a point of bridging the gap between yourself and others, and remember that you are not suffering these things alone. That those things could very well be the common ground that you find that builds a relationship of substance and of meaning and purpose between you and another, which can then lead to greater things. But what do I know? I'm just a bedroom philosopher.